Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Work Smarter, Not Harder Instant Professional Documentation webinar for artists. We will be looking at showing and demonstrating artwork archives, reporting features, all helping you create professional documentation of your artwork for your art career and elevating your art career and saving you countless hours. As everyone is joining, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. If you want to let us know your name, where you're logging in from, the kind of art that you make, the kind of artist that you are in the chat, that'd be great too. We would love to meet you all. We have over 1,700 people joining or that are registered for today's webinar, so it's going to be a big crowd. So I'm expecting to see lots of different introductions here. We have someone from New York. We have Constance from Brooklyn, Missy from Dallas, Allison from South Florida. Yes, y'all are muted. I see Daniela, you asked there in the chat. Yeah, just so y'all can just type your answers in the chat so that way we're not having to take time going through each person because we have a large audience here today. And then also, if you've been with us for a while, how long have you been using Artwork Archive? This kind of gives us a really good idea of where everyone is at in their familiarity with all their features, but especially with reports, since today is going to be specifically going over reports. Um, oh, it's so good to see. I got someone from Charlotte from Germany at the moment, and she paints. Ruby from Austin, Texas. I love Austin. Andrea from Los Angeles, also a painter. Lots of Germany, actually. We've got quite a few Germany people. Francis from Atlanta, oil painter. Hi, I'm actually your neighbor. I'm in Birmingham, so we're close by. Okay, I'm going to get distracted by the chat, so I'm going to minimize that down there. I'm going to go ahead and click on, let me go back over to my slides here. So while you're all introducing yourselves too, I'm going to do a quick introduction of our team who we have here with us today. Like I mentioned, my name is Anna. I'm the user support lead here at Artwork Archive. I am, again, based in Birmingham, Alabama. I am a professional artist myself. I've been creating and showing my work professionally for about 10 years, and I have a master's in fine arts. And a quick little showing of all of the team we have on with us today. You'll notice I have a few colleagues on. Helen from New York, who is also a visual artist. Lauren from San Jose, Costa Rica, who is a printmaker. And Anamika in Portland, Oregon, who is also a painter and does our expert kind of educational resources and videos for artists and art associations. And then Frank is also on as he is our expert in kind of video editing and our art blog and writes for our art community. So if you've seen any kind of blogs recently, you've probably it's probably been written by him. And so we will all be on today helping, or sorry, my colleagues will be here today helping with the chat and the Q&A throughout, and I'll get into more details here in a little bit, but I want to introduce the team as we are all experts on reports, all these features, but especially reports today since that's our main topic. And so if you have any questions throughout, you'll see Helen or Lauren or Anamika popping into the chat or to the Q&A, and they'll be answering some of those questions throughout. I would like to, I'm on this next slide already, but I would like to ask Lauren if you would mind popping up. I have a poll today for everyone to answer if you don't mind taking just a minute or two reviewing this poll. I see that she has popped that up. You should see that on your screen now, on your Zoom screen. There are just two questions here. If you wouldn't mind take a second answering these. The first question is, what is your biggest challenge when presenting yourself as a professional artist? We've got a few different options here for you to choose from. Maybe it's the time-consuming aspect of making them. Maybe it's the scattered data you're trying to wrangle and put into a report. Maybe it's, the professionalism of making them look formatted and clean and ready to go. So lots of different ways. Maybe it's all of them. Maybe it's all of these things. And the second question here on your screen is, which reports do you find yourself using the most or that you're looking forward to learning more about? So whether or not you're new to Artwork Archive or you're already a user, which of these report types are you most interested in? We will be going through all of them, but this just gives me a good idea to see where everyone's excitement is with these different report types. And we've got lots of different report types that we'll be covering. I see we've got about 45% of the audience has answered so far. I'm going to let a few more answers come in, give you guys a little bit more time. Just gonna check in to see how everyone is doing in the chat. Okay, great. Oh, QR codes is of interest, making and printing labels, tracking limited edition prints. We won't be going over that today. That is, we do have other webinars for that, and I'll get into where to find those in a little bit. Tracy says everything. Absolutely. Okay, so Lauren, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and stopping or ending the poll there so we can go ahead and look at the results. So now click share results on there and you should see everyone's responses here. So we have a lot of people are saying their biggest challenge is time-consuming manual creation of their portfolios. I have been there. I've spent countless hours in design software, whereas I could be spending more time in my studio just trying to submit to one gallery show. So there's a lot of different hangups that come our way as artists because since we're wearing multiple hats. Scattered sales and inventory tracking is a second one here. I'm gonna go on out to the next question and see pretty wide variety of interests. Portfolio pages and catalog pages and inventory reports seem to be of the highest interest. So thank you so much, guys, for all of you for answering that, for humoring me to see kind of where your interests lie. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing that, and you guys can close it out of your Zoom if you want. So with that said, oop, I made my chat too big on my screen there. So you told us what the biggest challenges are. We went over kind of what you're interested in. If all of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. It's exactly why Artwork Archives reports feature is such a game changer. I used to spend entire weekends using design software, as I mentioned, just trying to create a professional portfolio for one gallery submission. Whereas now, since I've been using Artwork Archive for several years, even before joining the team, for my own art practice, um, I can create multiple professional documents, certificates of authenticity, sales reports, consignment agreements, all of these different sorts of things that we need as artists to be able to create efficiently and easily so we can get back to actually making the work. Now I can do it in the same amount of time it took me to make one in an entire weekend, actually less time. Um, so time is a big part, a big aspect of the benefits for having this one-stop shop at your fingertips, report generation. And these reports will transform your artwork data into professional, consistent documentation that will elevate your art business and your art career. And so in some of these report types, I'm not on the slides, there we go. If some of these report types are brand new to you, this is kind of your first introduction to Artwork Archive. Just know that this is sort of a second step in advancement webinar for those who are already pretty familiar with Artwork Archive. So if this is your first time learning about us, seeing the platform in action, and you want to learn more about the other features. I saw that someone was asking about editions, for example. We have lots of other feature webinars that are already on our webinars page. I also highly recommend, my biggest recommendation for anyone who's new or for anyone who wants a wider lens of all of the features available, to please register for one of our free getting started webinar sessions for artists using Artwork Archive. We go over a full high-level overview of all of the features available for an artist master account. So Lauren, I believe, is going to paste a link to that Zoom registration page. So if you want to sign up for that, again, it's free. We do them bi-weekly, so you can find a date that works for you. We also record those as well and send those recordings out to registrants. So if you want a wider lens view that's not just on reports, you want more information on these different features, that is a great place to start. So, and if where was I? So, if you are new, also, this is kind of again your first introduction to Artwork Archive. I will give a very brief history. We began in 2010 as one of the industry's first cloud-based art inventory management systems. And our goal from day one has been very, very simple, which is to help artists stay organized, grow their careers, and get their artwork out into the world. And the reporting features that we're going over today are a perfect example of this mission in action. An artwork archive is built on what is referred to as a responsive framework. So this means you can access your art inventory and all of your management tools and features from any device, wherever you are, as long as you have internet access. So this means you can generate a portfolio page for a last minute opportunity. You can create a certificate of authenticity for a collector while you're traveling. So it's all of your professional documentation is always at your fingertips. Speaking of while traveling, a little anecdote. I was actually traveling recently and I was on a train from Edinburgh to London, and someone reached out asking about the exhibition history of three of my paintings. And train Wi-Fi isn't fantastic, but right there on the spot, because I had my phone on me, I was able to actually just create these professional, super clean reports of these three paintings and send them off to the person who was inquiring about them right there on the spot. And they wouldn't have known otherwise that I was traveling, because not only was I able to respond to them immediately with the attached documents from my artwork archive account, but it also like didn't affect the professionalism. It didn't affect the formatting and the professionalism of the document itself. It still looked very clean, very like the design is also highlighting the art in its best way possible. So that's just an example of this on the spot aspect that you also have with this responsive framework. And it maybe took 2 minutes, maybe less. It took no time at all. So this is the speed of which they receive the information, still professional and high quality documentation. So the reports we'll be covering today aren't just about saving time. It's also about professional presentation that's going to set you apart. Oftentimes, when we are as artists responding to or submitting to calls for entry for, whether it's a grant, residency, exhibition, whatever it may be, we are in a sea of t other talented artists. And for lack of better words, we're kind of competing against to see, if we're going to make it into the fray of this sea of other talented artists. And I've actually spoken to a few curators and gallerists before that have said oftentimes the documentation, the presentation of the artwork itself is just as important as the artwork, because that way it tells them what this artist is going to be like to work with, the level of professionalism that they're going to bring to the table. So the documentation is just as important as the artwork. You already spent all of this time and effort and skill in creating the artwork, so why not put your best foot forward and showcase your art in the best light possible when you are presenting these to collectors, clients, gallerists, etc. What makes Artwork Archive's reporting system so powerful is that it's completely integrated with your inventory, with your contact records, your location records, and your sales records. So this means when you generate a report, all of that data is being pulled from those records that already exist within your account that you've already taken the time to add into your account. So dimensions, pricing, provenance information, that sort of thing. So not only you're not having to deal with formatting and making the reports look professional and clean, but you also don't have to re-enter the information each time. You're not having to do double entry. So it's saving you also that headache of potential typos, trying to remember all of those important details that you've, again, already added into your account. So you're not having to scramble to find the information and re-enter it. And the platform is relational, so your data works together seamlessly across all of these different features and especially with your reports. So I'm going to do a quick run through of the different report types, and I'll be going into a demo of each of these and a little bit of how to create these and where to find them in your account. But just to give you a brief overview, here are some of the reports that are, these are the reports that are artwork based. So we also have business and admin based reports as well. But these are the artwork-based ones. You'll see here inventory reports here at the top and tear sheets at the bottom left. These two are quite similar. Inventory reports are probably our most tried and true, really versatile report type. They're really similar. We've seen artists use tear sheets as pricing sheets because it does have a smaller thumbnail, more parsed down information. But it does allow for more pieces to fit onto a page. Then the inventory reports will give you a larger thumbnail, more space for more information about each art piece, and so you can select which pieces, however many you want, to go into this report will be included. And then we also have portfolio pages up here on the middle at the top, and then catalog pages on the bottom right. Portfolio pages and catalog pages are also quite similar. They're both going to have a primary set image of the artwork per page. You can create these for every single artwork in your account if you would like, or you can just create one, for one particular artwork or a certain collection of artworks. And then the first page will have that primary image, and it'll come with a secondary page if you select to have any additional images of this piece included in the report. It'll go on the secondary page, such as detailed shots, installation shots of that same artwork. On the main page, so you'll have your basic tombstone information. On the catalog page, you'll have a space for a more lengthy description. And then they both will also have options to include a publication history or an exhibition history on the second page as well. Consignment reports at the top right here. This is if you're working with a gallery or you're working for a particular, maybe you show your work in a local coffee shop, or maybe you're working for, a higher end gallery, whichever the case may be in your art career. A consignment report is a great way to set up an agreement and transparency with the people you're leaving your artwork with. And it will even have a space for them to agree and sign on the terms and dates when your artwork will be at that location. Similar to that is the exhibition report. Not similar to that, but on the same note. Exhibition reports are for the exhibition records that you've created in your account. You can create these for however many exhibition records you would like in your account. It will have all those important dates, drop-off dates, pickup dates, any submission deadlines, opening reception dates, and any contact information for that exhibition. And it will also include any of the works that have been submitted and or accepted into that exhibition. And the last thing I want to mention on this page is these certificates of authenticity. If you're not already creating certificates of authenticity for your artwork, you should be. These are really vital for collectors when they are purchasing artwork from the artist. It's going to verify for them the authenticity of the artwork that they're purchasing for their own records. There's a space for you to date and sign. And then if you've actually created the certificate of authenticity after the work has already been marked as sold in your account, it would also have the option to include that sales information, including the buyer's name and stuff too as well. And I'll get into that creation process in a little bit. And one more thing before we get into the demo, I want to show you a kind of a wider lens overview of artwork labels and QR code labels. There are three different size options, small, medium, and large. You can create them for the Avery templates, so you can get Avery templates at your local office supply store. You can get them online even. And then you just select which pieces you want to create labels for. So use case scenarios for this are if you are putting together your own solo show or you're in a group exhibition that you're curating, or the gallery asks you if you want to send over your labels for them to install for you, or if you're installing yourself. Lots of different scenarios for that. I also will use labels to put on the back of my paintings for my own reference if I ever need to reference quickly if you need to reference the dimensions of the piece. I'll also sometimes include a QR code if I need to scan it on the spot and reference the exhibition history for that piece record in my account with my own private link. I can do it that way as well. And I'll print these off at home. I've got a printer in my home studio, but you can also print them off at an office supply store or a local print shop. And then they will fit perfectly on the wall, on the back of the piece, or on the bottom of the piece if you're a 3D artist. So lots of ways to use these, and they truly save time. They cut the time in half. They take away the formatting headache because it's pulling that data already from your artwork records. You're not having to type all of this information. You're not having to find the thumbnail image and drag and drop it into the design software. You just click which pieces you want, which data settings you want, and it's done. And you can move on with your life and stop spending time in design software. With that said, let's get into the demo. I do want to do a quick check-in to see how everyone is doing. I know it is a lot of information right off the bat, and it's going to be even more. It's a lot of stuff to get through, but I also want to make sure I'm touching base on every one of these different report types to make sure everyone is understanding what all is available to you. Okay, great. I see Marilyn's giving me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Seems straightforward. Thank you, Rachel. Deborah came in late. Yes, we are recording this webinar. We'll be sending out the recording afterwards in a follow-up email to all registrants, so you'll get that afterwards as well. Perfect. Okay, thank you all so much for responding. That's so nice to know I'm not talking to the ether. I am now going to share my other screen here. Let me make sure that y'all can see that. Perfect. Okay, great. So I am in an artist account. Again, this is a what we refer to as a 201 webinar versus a 101. So this is the next step webinar. We're not going to be going into all the features you see on your left side menu of your artist account because this is sort of the next step, the advancement step for artists using Artwork Archive. But again, if you do want an overview, that high level overview of all of the features, please do sign up for that Getting Started webinar that I mentioned earlier. You can sign up for that at any time. They're free, they're bi-weekly, and we'll go over all of them. But for now, today, we will be mostly focusing here on the Report/Docs tab that you'll see on the left side menu when I'm showing my screen here. When you first log in, we are logged into an artist master account. So we're logged in and we see our pieces page first. But I'm going to click on this little drop-down menu to Reports. So for artists, this is mostly going to go, we'll be going over an artist account, but also too, if you find yourself more so in the art collector or part of an arts organization bucket, um, this will still be really useful for you and good information because a lot of these report types are also in those account types. But just know this is specifically for an artist account. And so let's go over. So we are on the reports page. When I land here, this is where you can create your reports. This is where you can edit them. You can download and share them. You can review them here. You can also create them strictly from the reports page, but also there are several other locations. You can also create them from, if I go to artwork, under the pieces page that we were just on. You might think, well, I've never realized that. Yes, you can create reports from various locations. So on the pieces page, you can create them by clicking New Report, and you'll see lots of options here, ones that we just went over in the slides. And then if you ever need to create a report, you want to do it directly from your pieces page, you can always use the filter bar. It is always there and available for you to narrow down your search. So if I want to create a report of just my available pieces, I'll click status, available, and then it will update the pieces that are available. I can click new report, and whichever report I choose, it will include those pieces in that filter. So the same thing can be said too for locations. Hopping over to the locations tab, I'm going to click on this location. For example, I can click new report. I can make a consignment report, inventory report, etc. I can also go over to exhibitions. And when I click on this exhibition in particular, I can create a new report. And you'll see here for exhibitions, reports can include all of the pieces that have been submitted to it, or you can also do some for just the accepted pieces for the exhibition. So lots of options there as well. And then also in the income tab, I'll go over all of these in a little bit as well, just showing you where you can make these. You can go onto the income tab, new report, and here's where you can make an income report. You can also make a sales report underneath the sales pipeline, sales and donations. And the same thing as we saw on the pieces page, this filter bar is what you want to reference if you want to make a report for just like the date. You want to make a report of just your expenses and revenue from 2025. You can select that, hit apply. And then once that filter is up and available for you, you can click new report and it will just be the items that fit that filter. So now I'm going to go back over again into our reports page. So again, here's our home base for all of our reports. No matter where we are creating them in these different features, these different tabs, they will all be generated and stored here. And if you saw any of these features that you're like, oh, I want to learn more about locations. Oh, I want to learn more about exhibitions. We do have feature webinars on those things. Just go to our webinars page. You can learn more or sign up for that Getting Started webinar. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I just want to make sure everyone has all the information that they could have if they're excited about other things as well, because we got lots of really cool stuff. So back on the reports page, I'm going to show you how to generate a report. So to do so, I'm going to click this blue new report button. I'm going to click inventory report here. And so here you'll notice I can rename the report if I want to. I'm gonna call it artwork listing. If you want to save it as a template for future use, say, this is something I'm creating for um, an art gallery solo proposal submission, and I know for sure that like, I want to do a lot of these. I'm going to be sending this out to a bunch of different locations. I can make this as a template. That way it's saving all of the settings I've already selected for future report making, which again is we're all about saving time and getting back into your studio. So this way I'm saving even more time by creating a template name. So for instance, I'm going to call this one um, Open Studio Catalog Brief. And then for customization, I can choose between, let me scroll on here. There are some contact information things. I'm going to uncheck phone. I'm going to include website. You can include price totals if you want. I'm going to leave thumbnails checked. You can custom order these the pieces that you're selecting to be in this report. Right now it's currently on alphabetical. You can also do price high to low. We'll select that. You can also include a report header. You can select that there. And then for font options here, I can choose between serif and sans serif to decide how I want the artwork to appear, or how I want the data for the artwork to appear. And then we do have a really exciting new feature for reports I'm pumped to share with you all is cover pages. For certain report types, such as inventory reports, we have introduced the idea of cover pages. I'm going to check this box here, which will include the profile image, artist bio, and my social media links that I've already included in the My Profile section of my account. So I'm not having to retype my artist bio, find my headshot that I prefer to use. It's all going to pull that information directly for me and create a very clean cut cover page for me for this report type. Scrolling down here, lots more data options here. If I want to uncheck location, but maybe I want to show a status label. Maybe I want to show if it's sold or donated. I can check that. And here you can include URLs for the primary image and additional images of the reports. This is a fantastic tool to use that you can just check or uncheck as needed. If you're working with someone and they need the original image files for promotional materials, or if you're sending over to a client who wants to receive the high resolution image file for their artwork, this is a great option to check that. We're not having to find those images, squeeze them into an email or a zip folder and send it along. It can be within the report itself. I'm going to leave that unchecked for now. I'm going to come back and edit this report in a little bit and show you what that looks like. I just want to show you where that's located. So now we have gone through and selected a bunch of data and display options. I am scrolling now down to select your pieces. So this is what we refer to as the piece picker that you'll see throughout the platform, whether you're using reports, private rooms, etc. So for now, you'll see that on the left side, it says pieces 20. So these are all the pieces in my inventory. All the pieces on the left side are not currently in the report. You'll see on the right side it says selected pieces 0. So any pieces that I want to be in this report will need to make their way over to this right side column. So to do so, I can select this piece. I just selected the space around it. I'm going to uncheck that. And I can say add one. And this will add that piece to the right side column. So now it is going to be part of this report. If I have a bunch of different pieces I'm wanting to add, if I have, I've already set up my filtering, I've already set up all of these different, I've already included this different data in the piece record fields, I can use my show filters button here to narrow down my search. So for example, here I might do, I'm going to do collections. I've already put together a bunch of collections of my artwork. I'm going to do the floral collection. And then here I'll see that it's narrowed it down now to only 3 pieces versus 19. So it's narrowed down my search to this. If I need to clear the filters at all, I can always click this. So I can, again, check one by one and add, or I can say add all 3 pieces to this report, and there we go. And I'm going to say generate report. And let's see what this looks like. So it's going to be take you straight back to your reports page. It's going to generate here. You'll notice too that we do have this little blue pencil icon to the right of the report while it's generating, and when it's finished, that's where you can click to edit the report at any time you would like. And now look, it's already done generating for me. So I'm going to click on the title here where I can view the report. So I can see the PDF as it is. I did select to include a cover page, so we see my cover page in its full glory. Again, the image, social media links, and artist biography were taken directly from the My Profile tab in the account. Scrolling down here, I selected to include a report header. The pieces I selected are included here, and the different data settings I selected are also included. But say, for instance, I do want to include those URL links for downloads of these original image files. Maybe I also want to change the order of the pieces in the report. I'm going to click out of this. I go back to this title here. I'm going to click, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to click this edit button here. And it's going to take me back into the report editing or creation window. So the same things are already selected. I don't need to go in and double check these things. It has saved those settings for me. But I do want to go into this custom ordering and piece sort options section here where there's a drop-down menu that I selected earlier to sort by price. But now I want to say custom order. I'm going to be able to fully customize the order of the pieces in this report. When I select that, you see it says select your pieces below and customize the order on the next page. Noted, we will do it on the next page. And then also scrolling down, I am going to show you what it looks like when I include URLs for downloads of these original image files. And the same pieces are already still selected, so I'm going to click next. And it's going to take me to my piece ordering page here. So these are the pieces, these 4 pieces are in this report. And now I can order how I want them to appear in the report. So say, for example, we actually want this one that's number 4 to be number 1. I can just select this drop-down menu, select 1, and it goes right up to the top. I can move this one down to number 4 if I want. And then for certain device types like desktop computers and laptops, you can use this drag and drop option where I can drag this piece up, I can drag this piece down, and it will automatically do that for me. I'm going to say generate report, and it will regenerate that same report on my reports page. So the original one is here that we already created. If I no longer want this one, I can always click this little blue delete button. But it's also going to pin to this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this old one. We don't want to see that anymore. Yes, we can delete that. I'm going to view the new report that we just created. And here again, we have our cover page. Scrolling down, I see the new order listing here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here for you guys. And you can see here the image files do in fact have hyperlinks. So if I select this hyperlink says primary image, it's taking me to the original image file where the recipient can then download the original image file to their device if they're using it, for promotional materials for an exhibition that you're in. They want to share the artwork in an email or something, whatever it might be. This is a great way to send them those original images without having to, again, squeeze them into an email, which is, I hated doing that because you have to go find them later too. Like, what images did I send them? What was the resolution of them? When did I send it to them? All that good stuff. So here it's all in one spot and you can always reference it. And then speaking of when sharing it, I'm going to select this title again to show you. So we just did the view. You can also download the PDF directly to the device you're using, whether it's a laptop, tablet, iPhone, whatever it may be. And then you can also copy the URL and share. But my recommendation always to artists is to click this share button here if you're wanting to share the report itself, because a window will pop up on your screen where you can share directly with contacts that are already in your account. So if I select this client, for example, I can send directly to them. You could also send the email in this email window where you can just type in any email you would like. However, the difference between putting it in contacts and emails is that if you put it in the contact, it's already a contact record in your account and you're sending it this way, the system will track that sharing history. So this means when you go to your contact record, you'll see a sharing history of the different reports and private rooms and things you have shared with them. And then you'll be able to see also, you'll be able to click on the report, see what was in it, when you sent it, all that good stuff. Whereas if you send it just through the email itself, you wouldn't have that tracking history within the contact record. So I always recommend making the contact record of the person or people that you're sending it to before actually sharing it. That way you can just select their name here, or you can select a contact group here. and I can just send it to a whole bunch of people at once. So say, if it's like the gallery board, for example, I can send it to all those people at one time. Maybe the residency, I can send it to all those people at one time. And then I always leave this check to send myself a copy of the email just for my own records. So you always have that as well. So that is the basics kind of generating any sort of report on your reports page plus sharing them. And that is all by clicking on the report title itself. So the real world case scenario for inventory reports, these are great for gallery submissions, grant applications, teaching portfolios. If we have any higher education art teachers out there, art professors out there, or if you're teaching workshops at a local art center, you're proposing a new workshop idea, show proposals, residency applications. So many different use case scenarios for these. It's a really, really versatile report type, as all of them are. With that said, I'm going to now go over into catalog pages. These are really similar to portfolio pages. They're going to focus on a larger, more prominent image. Actually, let me go into portfolio pages first. I think I skipped over that. Yeah. So I'm going to go over, I am on the reports page. I've actually already created one. I'm going to scroll down to find this one here so we can view the portfolio page that I created, just so you can get a quick glimpse of what it looks like. I mentioned before that the first image for each artwork will be on its own page with this sort of tombstone information of the piece itself here. So dimensions, medium, price, and then if you have any secondary information that you want to include for each piece, that will go on the second page where this has the publication history, exhibition history, and even additional images if you want to include that. So just like with the other ones, I can create a portfolio page directly from here under New Report, Portfolio Page. I can also edit past ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the edit mode for this one here. And then you can see previous things already selected. I am going to select multiple images to include on the second page so you can see what that looks like. This one was already done in a custom order. You can always change this at any time you would like. I'm going to keep those things checked as is. All good. Publication exhibition history has also been checked, and it's just these two pieces. So I'm going to say generate report, and let's see what it looks like when I've included, oh, we selected a customized order. So yes, we're good with that order. Now generate report. And it's going to generate again on the reports page for me. Real case use scenarios for portfolio pages is for gallery submissions, grant applications, teaching portfolios, etc., that sort of thing. And then I'm going to click on to see what we got here. And on the second page, boom, we have our secondary images. We got some, I got an installation shot. We got a few detail images as well of this piece, plus the publication and exhibition history. You'll notice that this one does not have a secondary page because this piece record does not have that information in its piece record. So if you wanted to add more information to it that you already do have, maybe you do have some extra images you want to add, you can go to that piece record, edit it, and then come back and recreate this report type, and it will appear on the secondary page for this piece. So that's portfolio pages. So I was mentioning earlier, catalog pages. Similar to portfolio pages, they do focus on a larger, more prominent primary image of the artwork. When you're on, for like, this can be great for like exhibition catalogs or when you're wanting the artwork to really shine. So I'm actually going to use the filter tool here on my reports page to filter by catalog pages. And I can see here I've got one from 2024. I also made one yesterday that I'm going to just do a quick view of to see what we have. I kind of did a cooking show method with some of these reports. I made them all beforehand so that I didn't have to, anything happen with my Wi-Fi. I had them on the go ready to show you guys. So this one I've also included a cover page for. Scrolling down, I can see for the catalog page, you'll see that it is a larger image for the primary image of this work. And there's a spot here for a more deep dive description of this artwork. So if I included a description of the concept of this piece or what this piece is about, maybe the creation process, any of that kind of stuff that you want to share would go in the description box of the piece record. And if you select for that to be included, it would be included in the catalog report. And then the secondary page does also have a shorter description of this piece here at the top. and then publication history, exhibition history, and additional images. And then let me go back over here. See, so I think that's based, it's same thing too. You can share it directly just as I showed you guys earlier. But you can see how it would emphasize the impact of the work by having that larger image and centering it on the catalog page. Real world case scenarios for this is open studio event booklets. You've seen artists use it for that kind of scenario. A hard copy piece information to leave with galleries for exhibition openings or receptions so that they have a physical booklet of the pieces included in the show. Also, just having a full piece history for inquiring collectors, potential buyers who want maybe their own kind of personalized catalog of certain pieces. Now, tear sheets. I'm gonna get out of this filtering here, go back over here. So tear sheets are my go-to for whenever I've done art fairs or even planning solo shows for exhibitions in my own studio for reference. They show smaller thumbnails and just basic key information for each piece, including the price. So this is perfect for when someone wants to quickly browse available work or you need to quickly reference for yourself. So I'm going to go to New Report. I'm going to do tear sheet. And I'm gonna just kind of go through here, check a few things, leave that as is. We can include a cover page just as before. I might leave that off for now, but I'm going to include a report header. And creation date sounds great. I'm going to make one that's just all of the pieces in my inventory. It's all 20 pieces. I can get a good look at everything that I have. I'm going to click generate report. I'm not going to do any kind of ordering just yet, just to see what it will generate for me. So again, the real world case scenario for these is open studio pricing sheets to leave with the gallery, exhibition planning. Sometimes I'll pin these up in my studio on my wall just for my own reference as I'm working on maybe a body of work that I want to reference to see what all I have going on. I'm going to select this and view this report type and see we have a report header. Some pieces do not have prices listed with their piece records. I would need to go and edit that now. But if I go into the second page, I can see what that looks like. And I can see the full pricing list, plus also some basic information such as medium and dimension. And then every time you sell a piece, you should also provide a certificate of authenticity. So that is a look at tear sheets. I'm going to go into certificates of authenticity. So let me show you how easy that is. You can create them from here under New Report Certificate of Authenticity. You can also create them directly from your pieces page within the piece records. These can be made for each individual piece in your account if you would like. I'm going to scroll down to this one, for example, here. I'm going to do New Report and Certificate of Authenticity. Here you can see it's already taken the information from the piece record, included it in there at the top. Again, I can include this various information here. I'm going to include price. I'm going to include all this stuff actually. I'm going to include sale information. So the reason why this is appearing is because this piece is already sold. If this piece was not sold, you would not have this option. But because it has already been marked as sold, this will include the sales price and the person it's sold to. And you'll see more when I generate this report. And then my certificate of authenticity text that I've already set up, I'm going to say generate. It's going to generate, it's going to take us back to our reports page to show us where that's generating. And you can see here it's got the exact piece it's for listed if I ever need a reference quickly on the reports page what this certificate was for. And I can go to view now that it's done putting it together for me. And you can see here it's got a super nice streamlined way of showcasing the work. The certificate certifies that this artwork described below is an authentic work. It has a description, the sale information here, including the buyer's name, where it was sold from, sales price, and sales date. And then here's where I can write my name as the artist. I can date the certificate itself or when the certificate was generated, and also I can sign here as the artist as well. And then anytime I've sold a piece and I'm sending it the certificate along with the sold artwork, if I'm shipping it, I'll just include the certificate of authenticity in the shipping package and send it along with the art piece. Or if I'm, dropping it off or meeting with the client in person, I can hand it to them as well when I'm giving them the artwork. Okay, so that is certificate of authenticity. Now that is kind of a brief sort of run through, not super brief, we went pretty in depth, of the art piece based report types. Now we're gonna sort of switch gears and go into business and inventory report types. Sorry, not inventory reports, business and admin report types. So we've gone over those piece related ones. Let's look into the business side of reports. These are so these different report types, inventory report types, by the way, since that's the first one we went over, these are essential for your own reference for collectors. But from the business perspective, they're also great for insurance purposes, loans, or comprehensive gallery submissions. So that was the first type of report that we created. So again, that's the versatility aspect of all these different reports and how you can use them in your art practice. So we've seen artists also generate new ones annually, new inventory reports for insurance updates. I'll use them whenever I'm applying for a significant exhibition that wants to see my full body of work. But let's go over now into, I'm going to do sales reports. So the way to get the sales reports is through the sales pipeline on your left side menu. I'm going to select this drop down here. I'm going to click sales and donations. So here's our full list of all of these sales that we have logged into our artist account. Whenever I've marked a piece as sold, I've included the client that it was sold to, the place it was sold from, if that is the case for that piece. And then invoices are also listed here, all that good stuff. So all the information for all that sales record stuff is already here for me. I'm not going to have to retype any of this information. I'm not going to have to locate it anywhere. It's already here. So what I would recommend is if you are creating a sales report for a specific purpose, say it's tax season, you're preparing the end of the year or the beginning of the year, or maybe you do your taxes quarterly and you're wanting to quickly and efficiently put together a report to send over to your accountant or for yourself to reference. I recommend using the filter bar here because I can use this date and do 2025 year to date and click apply or any date range for that matter. And here it will give me the sales total and net total at the top for my own reference. This is only my internal view. And this filtering is showing just the pieces that fit this filter wording. So this is just the pieces, I'm sorry, just pieces, just the sales records information from 2025. Now, when I'm ready to make the report, I can click New Report and do sales/donation report. It will be for 6 sales below. So know that this report is going to include 6 itemized listings there. So this will track all of your transactions. It's going to show your revenue over time and helps you understand your market. And you click on this so we can see what this looks like. So this is a sales report. I zoomed out just to give you a glimpse of the formatting of it. So you can see that it has 3 to 4 basic sections. One, I'm going to zoom back in so you can see a little bit better on your screen. So the main section here you'll first see is just an itemized list of all of the sales records within that filter that I've selected. And then if I scroll down further, I can see a quick tally, a little breakdown of all of that sales information in one section. And then this is a fantastic, maybe underutilized area of the sales report is the by location and the by buyer sections. So this is a fantastic use for, I mentioned tax season, preparing for, submitting your taxes, whether it's through an accountant or yourself. These are also great to reference for yourself throughout the year to see the reality of your art success so far. You can see which locations are selling your works the best, the monetary value coming out of the sales from these different locations, which buyers are buying the most types of artworks. I can see the different values over time, the number of sales. This will give me a really good glimpse to see these itemized locations and contacts as they are associated with these sales. So this is something, again, that I think is definitely underutilized, but it is also always there. Again, you can do it for any time of year. I'm gonna go back over here to see, back over to the sales pipeline, sales donations. So you can filter by sale price. I can filter by artwork type if I want to make a sales report for just pieces, prints, maybe a different artwork type. by a certain client. There's so many different ways to use this to really maximize the way you're able to view your art career and your art business success and trajectory. You can kind of plan forward a little bit too to say, okay, well, this gallery is selling more than this one. I do find that this art fair also is a really good revenue resource for me, so I might try this art fair again next year. Ways to kind of, plan out the next year as a professional artist. Okay, so I've talked a lot about sales reports. I'm going to go now into income and expense reports. Similar, it's going to go under the income tab, this little dollar sign here. And then I'm going to, so same, it's similar to what we just saw. The revenue and expenses is not going to be just sales and donations. It's going to be revenue and expenses. So it's going to be the full transactional history of the pieces and any expenses for pieces or for your full art career overall in one spot. So here you can see at the top here, it does have a quick tally of revenue totals, my overhead expense totals, and then taxes combined, etc. Just like in the sales and donations tab, I also have the filter here where I can filter by date if I would like. Um, and then I can also then right here create an income report. So we just created a sales report. This would be the income report would include both revenue and expenses. So if I wanted to create one that's an itemized list just for 2025, I'm going to hit apply and it's going to update what we see here. So I have some gallery rent listed here. I have some pieces that were sold. If you had any framing expenses or materials expenses for specific pieces, that would also be shown here if that fits within that filtering. It also does update those totals here at the top. And I'm going to click New Report, Income Report. So as you can see, I am making these super quick. I'm not having to sit down with a calculator or my notepad. I'm not having to go into my Excel spreadsheet, reference paper receipts. It's all here in this one spot and it's generating it for me. I'm not having to recreate this information every single time. And I'm always going to have it here for me to be able to access. So I don't need to save it in these various drives or, thumb drives or Google drives or whatever it might be. It's all in one location. And I can always title them. I'll see the date when they're created. I can see the share history, all that good stuff. So if I want to share this with the accountant contact I have in my account, I can, and I can track that shared history within their account too, within their contact record. I'm going to click View here. So you can see what the income report looks like. It is going to show, again, both revenue and expenses. So right now we're seeing the full total of revenue and expenses here at the top. It's going to break it down by category here. And it will also list all of the records. It will have a little bit more information about, um, what the category is, rent, sales, maybe it's materials, maybe it's office supplies, etc. Those different categories that are available to you when you're marking an expense record, or an income record there, or sales record, I should say. So the real world case scenarios for this is I love having both a digital and a physical copy of these reports, one that's in my account, but also digital ones that I can reference solo on their own, separate from the full view of my account. I'll also sometimes print these out and pin them up for my own reference if I ever need to. So that is there for you for so many different scenarios. So now we have gone over, let me just check my list here. So yeah, that was expense reports. Let me go over into exhibition reports. I see we are almost out of time, so I'm going to go a little quicker through these. Going to exhibitions, clicking on this exhibition record, I can go to new report. I'm going to click on exhibition report right here at the top. Again, lots of different options here. I'm going to go straight into this one. Notice I'm not selecting anything. I just selected report. I didn't have to go through and add any dates. I didn't have to go through and add any pieces or anything because the pieces were already assigned to this exhibition. I already did that work. I'm not having to go in and do that myself. So now I can select this, view, and I can see exactly the dates that are listed that I've already input, the physical address, contact information, and then the pieces. It will mark them as accepted. If it won an award, this one was not accepted, unfortunately, but it's okay because we won an award. And here I'm always able to access all of that super important exhibition record information. And then I'm going to go over into speaking of exhibitions, let me go back to that same exhibition and I'm going to show you how I can make labels. I'm going to click New Report and then I'm going to click Artwork QR code labels. I'm going to do just the accepted ones. So here's where, just like any other report, you can name it, you can save it as a template. Here are the different size options, small, medium, and large. And then you can, so for the medium ones, you can include a logo if you would like, and a description if you would like, or a description if you would like. And then for the large ones, you can include both. And then when you're ready to print these off, you'll notice that each one does list the Avery template product number. So if you ever need to search this, if you're wanting to purchase them online, this is the number you would reference when you're ready to print them off at home, just so you know, because these are designed to fit those specific labels. And so when you print them, you know that they're for sure going to fit. You're not going to have to kind of finagle them in design software. They're already formatted for you. And then, of course, all of the contact information, if you want to include that. If you want to include a QR code, you can. You could also include a thumbnail or a QR code. When you click QR code, you'll notice that it does offer internal links, public page links, or a custom URL. The internal link will be just for you to access. So that will be if you scan it on your phone, it's going to take you to your Artwork Archive account that only you have access to. So if you share an internal link with someone else and they don't have access to your account, they're just going to be taken straight to Artwork Archive. If you want to create a QR code label for anyone to access, say you wanted to create QR code links for an exhibition that you're showing your art pieces in, and you have these labels on the wall, you would click public page links because this would take them to the public listing of the pieces in your public profile. So they'd be able to, right there in the spot, scan the QR code on their phone, and then they're taken straight to that one singular piece on your public profile and see any of that information you've already listed as public. So they'll see, they can also request purchase right there on the spot. They can inquire about it. They can see, if you decided to include any other descriptions about the work that you didn't want to include on the label, they can look at the description right there with the QR code. And then the custom link would be any URL you can think of. That could be your artist's website, the gallery's website, Wikipedia, whatever it might be. Any custom link you can include there. And then here's where you can you can organize how the pieces will be, how the labels will be printed, in which order the pieces will appear on the labels. And then, of course, these other little font options and such. And then I'm going to click, I would click Generate Labels just for the sake of time. I'm going to go back over to Reports, and I've already created um, a label for you guys. I'm going to scroll down here to see, I've got a few different options. So here is the small option, the small size option. This is with QR codes. This is what it would look like. These are for public pieces. I've selected to have a public link, and I can always reference that by seeing right here underneath artwork label, it says public QR codes. So I'll always know. I can always test the QR code myself on my phone just to make sure it's taking people to where I want them to go. And then I can also see the medium label size here. We go. This one I've included thumbnails instead. This is a medium size. It's a larger label, but it's going to give me a really nice crisp little thumbnail of the piece it's referencing. And then going back, I'm going to go over to, that was medium. Let me go to the large thumbnails that I put together. I'm sorry, the large labels I put together that are thumbnails. And these, you see, they are large and they will have a full description if you've included a description within the piece record. So this way, if you would rather not use a QR code method for if you want people to read a full description, this is another way to do it, is to create for those half page size labels that you can include for anyone to read there. Great. So that is labels. Consignment reports. Again, we are way over time. I'm going to continue kind of just pushing through here so I can get you all to see the different options available. Consignment reports, you could also make these within the exhibitions record here. Go to new report. And, oh, I misspoke. That would be within locations, my bad. It would be under locations. I'm going to go to this location, this gallery, blank space gallery. And here I can do new report, consignment report. When I click this, you'll see I already have pieces assigned to this location. Consignment report is going to take me to a space where I can include a consignment ID number if I need to, notes, all the other information we've already seen before. I can include a report header, etc. And then the pieces are already selected for me as to what I can include in this report. So I would just need to either select all or I can individually check these to include them. But I'm gonna go back over to reports and consignment report. Let's see. Um, mm, mm, mm. There it is. I'm gonna do view. And here you can see what that looks like. You see that there is a space for the gallery to agree and sign on the dates when the pieces will be at that location. So that way you can print one for yourself and for the gallery for them to have once you both signed. And then that way there's full transparency and your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. I'm going to click out of those for now. And now let's see, I'm going to go over branding of these reports. I've mentioned a few times with cover pages where you can include the branding that would be pulled to go into those. I'm going to go into my profile. So here under my profile, when I select this, I'm taken straight to the profile info tab. This is where you can upload your headshot, your profile image, a logo if you would like, or report header if you would like. Your social media links will also be listed here that you can include if you would like. And then your bio will be taken from the about here. So in those cover pages, you saw that I wasn't typing anything, I wasn't copying and pasting anything or pasting any images. It was all being taken from this tab. So if you ever need to update the information or if you don't have a profile image yet, you want to upload that, I would go to the My Profile tab. And if you don't want to use a public profile, you don't have to have a public profile live in order to use those tools for your reports. You would just need to go in here to add that information, upload those files, and it would be used for your reports. So my profile isn't just for the public profile, it's also for where a lot of this artist-specific information is being pulled from. And I think that about covers it. I do want to go over to the reports section again to show you. I've mentioned templates. Whenever you create templates, if you save as a template while you're creating them, those templates are then stored in this templates button. So if I want to create an inventory report, straight from here, I can select this one and it's already got those data options selected for me that I already went through and selected. So that's where you would go to if you want to reuse those templates in the future. I believe that is it. So I am going to now I'm gonna go back over to the slides here. I'm gonna share that. And then Q&A. Anamika, do we have any questions to go over?
Yes, and Anna, great job here. And everyone who's been here is so engaged, asking questions. And there's been a lot of comments like, the reports are everything. I love Artwork Archive. It's been supporting my practice. I sold a painting. I've just been
Ah,
really feeling the love in the community here. So, Anna, there have been a lot of questions on the theme of, under the theme of report generation
mhm.
around QR codes. And I know you touched upon it, but if you'd like to demo or talk about, there were a lot of questions in general about where QR codes link out to, how you include a QR code, if you can include a QR code and a thumbnail image. So just a general deeper dive into QR code.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm make sure I'm sharing my screen again. Yes, okay, great. Yeah, that is a great question. We get that question quite a bit. So let me go back over into just the general reports page. So I showed you guys kind of the final what QR codes can look like at these different sizes, the different options you can select, thumbnail or QR code. I'm going to go back into the full generation creating just so you can see that. I can go to new report, artwork and QR labels. I can do it also from the artworks page and all these different pages too, but for the sake of simplicity, on the reports page is also a great spot to start. And just like other reports, same options at the top. You are going to get the option here for your sizes that we went over. There's some different options, including you can say if it's not for sale in the label. If you don't want to have the price listed, you can include that, or all these different options. The question of thumbnail versus QR code has to be one or the other. Even if you're doing a large label option, it has to be either the thumbnail or the QR code. You'll see it's not you can't select both at the same time. So you would either need to select one or the other. The QR code Again, three link options: internal, public, custom. The main thing to remember is internal is just for you. So I've used specific, so use case scenario for these is I'll oftentimes, or I actually for all of my pieces, when I'm done creating them, the varnish has completely cured. These pieces are done and ready to live on in the world. I'm ready to show them, whether it's to a client 101 or in a show, whatever it may be. I create these labels and I'll put them on the back of my pieces, and I'll always use internal links for those because oftentimes if I'm having a one-on-one meeting with a client, they want to see these pieces in person. They might ask me a question I don't remember the answer to. There is no way for me to remember everything, right? So, oftentimes they'll ask me about whether it's the exhibition history or maybe something about the creation process, or maybe the date when it was completed. I create these QR codes. I can put them on the back of the pieces. I can scan them on the spot. And then say I can remind myself or I can double check my accuracy of the information I'm telling them. And that way, uh, I'm not, giving them the wrong information or scrambling to figure or make things up on the spot. So oftentimes, I'll reference those internal links for that. But then again, if anyone else were to scan that, they would have to log into my account, which no one else has access to. And they'd be taken just straight to artworkarchive.com. So if you're wanting anyone else to be able to scan these QR codes to see the public view of the work, you would want to select the public page links because that's going to take them to, I'll just show you an example. When I go to view profile here, it's going to take them to a piece view on your public profile. So if I created a label of a public link for this piece, someone scanned it, it would take them directly to this piece. And I recommend if you already have an account with us, testing it out, experimenting with it, scan the QR code with your phone, and you can see where it's going to take you. The public page links are great. I've used them for shows if I want to still stick with those smaller labels. They just look a little nicer in certain scenarios depending on the space you're showing your work in. And that way, if you don't have space to have a full description, but you want to get into the nitty-gritty details of the creation process or a concept behind the work, you'll have that description here on the public piece as well if you want to include that. So that is what I would recommend for that. And then the custom URLs. This is, you just include the URL here. So if I wanted to take them to artworkarchive.com, that's where this QR code would take them to when they scanned it with their phone. So I hope that makes sense. I think that helped clarify to the public versus private link. Any other questions you want to touch base on?
Yeah, that was great. There were a lot of people wanting more clarity around the URLs and how that works within the system.
Yeah.
So, another theme of questions that I saw were also related to report generation, especially where we can create templates, where you can customize and include the branding into the report types. So, like if you could walk us through a common way to customize a report and save it as a template. It sounded like a lot of people had various questions about that.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're creating a report, I'm just going to go back to the reports page, and just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to click on inventory report. This is where I would check to say save as template, and then I would just give it a name, whatever it might be. Give it, whatever the template name is. And then what I am going to select, these different settings through here. I'm going to uncheck and check things. I'm going to play around and experiment, and say, okay, those settings I'm happy with. Then I would say generate report. When I generate report, it's going to take me, oh, I didn't select any pieces for, okay. I'm going to select those pieces. Okay, now we're going to generate report. This is what happens when you're moving hastily. And so now it's being generated here, but you'll notice too under templates that the templates are being listed here as well. So when I created, let me wait for it to finish pending here. But so any of those templates, if I want to create them from here, they are listed right here. I'm gonna do a quick little refresh. So if I want to create, say, for example, the same inventory report where I selected a bunch of different things, it's going to already have those selection items selected for me. So I don't have to go through and manually double check all of these items because it's a template I've already made that I planned ahead for. The only thing I'll need to do when I am using a template that I want to use is just to go through and make sure I select the right pieces that I want. So it just makes the efficiency of creating these reports in the future just go a little bit faster. So I hope that makes sense. Was there another question for that? I think I may have missed it.
I think that was great.
Okay.
There was this, it was on the topic of customizing them and showing what we have available to include and also how to save as templates. A lot of people were saying, how do I do this without re-entering information?
Yeah, well, I will say too, the other thing in terms of customizing. So the customizing will happen when you're creating or editing the report itself, which would be when you're going into here, saying new report, select the report, or when you're selecting one of these little blue pencil icons to edit the report. That's where the customizing for the report itself is happening. And then for inventory reports, tear sheets, and catalog pages, we have released cover page options, which you'll see when you go to create or edit that report type. So when I go to edit this one, that option is included here, cover page. And then these other customizations, such as report headers, these are all being pulled again from the My Profile tab. So anytime you want to update or add anything that you want to be able to have the option to include in certain report types, you would go to the My Profile and it will update those options here for you. So if I change the report header to a different header in my Profile tab, that option will be here next time when I go to create a new report as the header option for me to select. So it's a mix of like the branding would be in my profile, but the report customization itself will happen when you're creating or editing the report.
Excellent. That flows perfectly into the next question, which was they asked essentially, I created a report but forgot the images. How can is there any way to address that without starting from scratch?
Absolutely. The way to do that, I'm curious what report type that would be, because a lot of them, you'll see the one I just made earlier, wouldn't let me create the report without selecting the images. So I'm curious which report type that was. But if you ever need to go in and edit the report, so like this one, for instance, has two pieces, say like, oh shoot, I meant to add three others to that one. I can always go in and edit it versus having to start over, which I always recommend. I'm always going to recommend the way of least resistance. I'm always going to recommend the way of not having to delete and start over. So here I would say click edit. And then if you're happy with all the other display and data settings that were already selected, leave those there. Scroll down to the very bottom where we have our piece picker. You'll see it has those two, but I can also go in here and say, I'm going to add some more, but maybe actually I didn't want to add this last one. I can actually remove this from this right side column. Now it's just these two pieces, and then I can add a few more if I wanted to. I can add all of them if I wanted to. And then I'm going to click generate report and it will regenerate that same report with those same data and display settings, just a different selection of pieces on the reports page as the one that's at the very top. So this is the one we were editing right here with two pieces. The one we just made that just completed is right here with four pieces. If I need to, if I don't need this anymore, I can always just hit the X to delete, and this will permanently delete this report. So make sure that you are certain that you want to delete this report. And then the new one is here for me to view if I need to or share, etc.
Excellent. Thank you. Um,
Yeah.
Related to sharing reports, some people are asking, does the recipient need to have artwork archive? Can I use it for an email campaign? And also, what type of report would be best if you have, for example, an exhibition coming out and you want to send it to your contacts?
That is a great question. Okay, that was a few different ones in one. Let me
Sorry, that was like
address.
more than one
No,
topic.
no, you're good. There was a lot of really good questions though. So let me address first sharing it. Can you actually rephrase or tell me
Yeah.
again the first question?
Yeah. So quite simply, in order to share a report, does the recipient need to have artwork archive? How do we share a report
Great.
essentially?
Yeah, so reports are being shared as PDFs. So when you send them to someone, they are receiving an email on behalf of you from Artwork Archive that says, hey, this artist account type we're using is called Brandon Halo. So, hey, Brandon sent you a report. Click this button to view the PDF. And when they click it, they'll be taken directly to the PDF view. They will see exactly what you see when you click view. So you'll know that I can always check to see, okay, this is what my client will be seeing on their end. Does it look exactly how I want it to look? Is everything being presented in the way that I want? Is the right data there, etc. And then once I'm happy with that, when I select share and I select their contact here, it's going to send directly to that recipient in their email that I have supplied here from their contact record, and they'll get that email on behalf of Artwork Archive, sorry, from Artwork Archive on behalf of you, the artist, that gives them the link to open up that PDF. So with that said, it is a PDF. They do not need an Artwork Archive account to access or view the PDF at all. That can be said for any of these report types that you're sharing. So if you're sharing, labels with the gallery, for example, they say, hey, we want you to create them. You can create them here, send it directly to the gallery contact record, and they don't need an account with us to be able to access. They can download that directly from the email that they are sent. They can view those, they can print them off on their own. So lots of different ways to share and send, but no, they do not need an account to access. And then the other question you asked on Amiga, I think, was on the idea of best ways to share, or what report type is best when sharing for a gallery submission. Was that correct?
Yeah, and there was also what report type would you recommend when working with a gallery representing you? What type of report would be best if you had an exhibition you want to send out to your contacts?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
there's
kind of a step back from that is I would first and foremost recommend kind of looking at whether it's reports or private rooms that you want to use. Again, this webinar is specifically on reports. Private rooms is also another great option for that if you're wanting to send someone their own private viewing space of particular pieces you've selected for them to view. So you can go to our webinars page to look into that feature spotlight webinar, or also just contact us if you want to know more about private rooms. But when it comes to reports, I would recommend a few different things. And it depends on the phase of the planning of exhibition that you're in. If you are proposing an exhibition, a solo show with this gallery, I would recommend catalog pages or portfolio pages, depending on which way you would rather present the work to them, because it's going to be those really centered images of. Actually, let me go back over here and share the slides because I do want to share with you while I'm talking about this. I'm going to share with you. We have a few different free resources slides I'm going to share with you in a second. I did not mean to click on that. Um, and in the slides at the end, there are all these clickable links that are going to be given to you all on an email that you, so if you want to look at each of these individually in their use case scenarios, inventory reports, tear sheets, portfolio pages. So if you want to, you can learn more about that here. We have a great help article with a tutorial on them. Here's some use case scenarios on that. But portfolio pages and then also catalog pages would be my two recommendations when it comes to report types of what you're sending to galleries, grants, residencies, that kind of thing. When you're kind of proposing a show, you're trying to put your best foot forward, you want to really make the artwork shine. I'd recommend those two. If you've already kind of been in talks with the gallery, you're in the phase of preparing the show, the gallery needs something to reference to like really verify and nail down which pieces are going to be in the show, any details around them. I would recommend sending them an inventory report. It's going to have a smaller thumbnail of each image, space for kind of that tombstone information if they need to reference it. So that way, if you send them this, and then also maybe, a tear sheet, and also maybe, the wall labels, they'll have all this cross-reference information in PDF form that they can print out on their own or reference digitally if they want. So that is what I would recommend. The answer that I just gave is a little bit of A, a little bit of B. It's not a super straightforward answer, but it really does depend on where you're at and when you're in talks with the gallery. I hope that helps. But if this particular person was asking and they want a bit more clarification, they want, some one-on-one help, please feel free to email us at team@artworkarchive.com or live chat with us using the chat icon on the bottom right of your screen. While I am on here, I know we probably have so many other questions. And again, we had over 1,700 people register for today's webinar. So it was a huge audience. And I want to thank you all for being here. If we didn't get to your questions, we got a lot of really great questions. Just know that our team has been furiously typing away as fast as they can to answer you live. And then we will also be following up with you guys individually for any leftover questions. And one of us will be emailing you to make sure your question gets answered. But you can always, of course, reach out to us directly at team@artworkarchive.com. That's our email address. Or you could also live chat with us. Again, no bots, no AI. So when you live chat with us, it's probably gonna be one of us. And again, I'll be sending this recording to you all, and as well as the presentation materials like these slides. I do want to mention if this is your first kind of introduction to Artwork Archive, you're just kind of getting started and shopping around, I highly recommend signing up for a free trial where you can play around with all of these different tools, see if it works for you. And then you can always reach out to us if you have questions along the way while you're using the free trial. We don't take any credit card information, so you're not going to be roped into an account. It's just for you to kind of play around and see if it works for you. Experiment a little bit. These are all free resource pages that have clickable links that we'll be sending to you as well. Knowledge is power. You'll all have this in your inbox shortly. All these other resources here as well. And like I said, I've also tacked on individual report information at the end of this slide that I'm not going to go over here, but it's just for you. I made these for you to reference on your own. You'll have these, and these learn more buttons are clickable as well. It will take you to more information on these. It gives you a quick glimpse into the visual plus use case example and description of each. So this is a great spot for you just to kind of review on your own if you would like. And then, yeah, I think that is about it. If you have any questions on this, I know it's a ton of information. This is a super beefy topic. There are so many report options that we have available. And I want to thank you all so much for joining. I hope this was super beneficial and helpful and informative to all of you. But again, if you have any other questions, if you think of other questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out. That is our job. It is to help you best navigate the different tools that are at your fingertips and ways to make Artwork Archive best suit your art practice. So thank you all again so much. I hope this was enjoyable and have a great rest of the day, everyone. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.